Welcome to this edition of the Sober Barkeep. I'm Brian Anderson from the Anderson's Guitar Bar here in lovely League City, Texas. Today, we are going to try non-alcoholic whiskey. Non-alcoholic whiskey, believe it or not, which is why Skyler's here, because when you heard me say I was going to try some non-alcoholic whiskey, his initial reaction was, what? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Kind of surprised that they would have it. So, there's a lot of non-alcoholic beverages that are being created right now. It's kind of the fad. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. This company that we're going to try is from Australia. It's called Lyres, and this is Lyres American Malt. Lyres American Malt. Lyres like an instrument, Lyres, but I think it's kind of like liars. You liar! It's not whiskey, but we're going to see how it tastes. Because when I drank, whiskey was my drink. I liked whiskey. I liked Jack Daniels a lot, and I love single malt Scotch. Skyler also is a whiskey drinker. You like whiskey as well. So we're going to try this out. This is interesting. When you go to the website, Lyres makes a wide range of non-alcoholic beverages, which we'll be trying on here. They make a triple sec. They make a amaretto. They make a dark and a light rum. They make a gin. They make a wide range of stuff. That we'll probably try on here depending on how this goes. And actually, I've tried this, so we will be trying it because this is actually a very interesting take on whiskey. So we're going to do it three ways. We're going to try it neat, which is the way I always drink my Scotch. We'll try it on the rocks, which is the way that I always would drink Jack Daniels. And we'll also do a whiskey and Coke, so like a Bourbon and Coke. Now, what you'll see right off the bat is that it's got the real caramel color and look of whiskey.
Smells like it.
And yeah, it smells like bourbon. I mean, there's no question about it. Now, Lyres doesn't say on their website exactly how they create this. It's called non-alcoholic, so it's not called alcohol-free, which makes me think it's a distillate. It does call it a spirit, which is kind of an oxymoron because spirits refer to alcohol. So the way that you would normally create a non-alcoholic spirit is you create it just like you would any other spirit. You distill it from a mash. It's a full alcohol, and then there's three ways that you typically can get rid of the alcohol. You can heat it until the alcohol evaporates, which is just slightly before water, which then burns up all the taste. That's some of the early beers were created that way. You can also vacuum distillate, which you bring it down close to vacuum, which means you don't have to heat it up a whole lot for the alcohol to escape, and so it kind of reserves the flavor. There's a third way, which is a lot more expensive, which is a reverse osmosis, where they actually pass it through a filter, and the only thing that passes through the filter is the alcohol and the water. All the flavor elements are left. They then boil out the alcohol in the alcohol water, put the water mixture back in there, and create it. It's much more expensive, but it doesn't affect the taste as much from the original mash. Now, real whiskey, you distill it, you end up with a white, clear liquid, and you put it in an oak barrel for 3 or 4 years, and it creates that charred flavor and the oak from the barrels. You can't do that in this. These don't sit there and extract from the barrels, so this is caramel color, plain and simple. And I'm sure they've added some smoke flavor to it because you're not going to pick up the smokes from the barrel.
It doesn't. I don't know.
So yeah, the smell, what do you think?
It smells like whiskey.
Yeah, it does. All right, so let's take a little sip of it this way. The other thing, before we take a sip, this actually is the first one of these, and I've tried 3 different spirits so far, which we'll be showing on here later. This is the first one that has the texture, the viscosity look that alcohol has. It actually has some viscosity on the side of the glass.
Yeah, it doesn't look like colored water.
Right, and it doesn't have that. So we'll see what the mouthfeel is on it, because a lot of the stuff that I've tried so far, the mouthfeel is just like water. So let's try a little bit of this neat. What do you think?
It tastes like whiskey, but no burn.
Right. That's the thing that you really miss with this is when you're drinking whiskey neat. One of the things I enjoyed about it was the burn. Yeah, the alcohol burn. And you don't get that with this, but you do get the back of the throat flavor profile and up through your mouth of whiskey. I mean, plain and simple. This is actually halfway decent.
It's just like like I said, it tastes like whiskey without the alcohol.
Right, right. So if I don't think I would drink this neat
No.
because it doesn't have that the flavor and the what you like in a whiskey neat because it does not have the burn. So let's try it. Let's try it on the rocks. Let's put a couple of ice cubes in here and try it that way. Make it a mess. All right, so let's pour a little bit on the rocks here and try it this way and see if that changes anything at all. Again, Lyres American Malt. So try it on the rocks. On the rocks, to me, in a regular whiskey, because of the burn, you don't get a lot of the flavor profile. And putting it on the rocks, to me, always kind of brought out a little more of the flavor profile because it took some of that burn out of it. And so it diluted it a little bit, I think. So we'll try it this way and see what we think.
I see if I like go to the bars and I order a whiskey. I'm used to being cold, so that is a lot more familiar than neat.
Right. So again, very much whiskey profile. I mean, this has got the flavor, absolutely got and the mouth texture. I didn't mention that a minute ago. I think when you tried it neat, it's a little thin, but it does have, and I think actually this has more of the profile that you would get, the mouthfeel that you would get out of a whiskey on the rocks.
Because with it neat, it was almost like drinking water at first, and then you tasted everything.
Right.
Like it's just that kind of feel. But yeah, you're right with this. It actually has more of that. Yeah, kind of the thick whiskey sort of.
So again, I probably would not. I might would drink it this way and just kind of sip on it a little bit. But again, you're missing that burn that you would have with regular whiskey. So let's add a little Coke to it. We'll add a little more of this because it's going to dilute with the Coke, and the Coke has a strong enough flavor where I think you're going to need a little bit more of this. So this doesn't say less than 1% alcohol, which makes me think it could be alcohol free, but it is from Australia, so I'm not 100% sure. But if it was, let's just talk about that for a second. If it was 1/2%, it would take 80 of these drinks to be the equivalent alcohol level of one with actual whiskey because you have 40% alcohol in whiskey. So let's pour a little bit of Coke in here. See what we got.
So, if I do ever order whiskey, it is whiskey Coke.
Okay.
It's whiskey Coke.
Yeah, it does. This is where it shines. Plain and simple. This is absolutely where it shines. But this is a Bourbon and Coke. I mean, it tastes like a Bourbon and Coke. You get the flavor profile of a Bourbon and Coke. Since you don't have as much burn in a Bourbon and Coke, you don't notice the burn being gone as much. This is about as close to a alcoholic drink with a non-alcoholic beverage as I've seen. We did the Coors beer before. It was very close to the product. This actually tastes very similar to a regular Bourbon and Coke.
It's very, very similar.
So I think if we had to rate this one in a mocktail rating, I would give this definitely a 4. And I would say that it's probably a low 4, 3, high 3, low 4.
Like, you're saying by itself or?
By itself.
By itself.
Yeah, by itself. But here, it's definitely a 4. I mean,
I think I'd go for a 5, honestly.
Really? Okay, well, there you go.
It's spot on.
We got a 5 here from somebody who still drinks whiskey. So I think that says a lot. I'm kind of excited about trying some more of the Lyres product, and we'll do that here on the Sober Barkeep. So from the Sober Barkeep, live well, drink smart.